We're going to learn a lot more from the pine cone. You know, the pineal, the pine cone. We're going to venture into that some more too. So the shell swirl, nature's modern ionizer. This is one of my inventions along the way here of talking with nature. But behind there's black tourmaline, which is one of the most mommy energies on our planet. But this shell, notice that dark and that light swirl. So in nature, the little creature that lives in there, the white swirls in the energy that it needs, and the black swirls out the energy it doesn't. There's this in and the out. And it has an intelligence about knowing what it needs and what it needs to spin out. So I just made that into like a little nature's way of kind of bringing in and having its own intelligence of what we need and what we don't. Okay, so let's go back to that looking at the in-between. And here's some more examples. You know how we talked about the proton, electron, the awake, asleep, and the in-between. And I started looking on my PowerPoint slides for swirls to show examples of swirls, and all of a sudden I saw this. And did any of you remember this incident? This was December 9th. Now, I couldn't tell you what was going on or who was doing it or what their agenda was, but whoever or whatever this was, they're quite aware of that. Look how the dark and the light come together, and it's at that tip where the light and the dark, which is in the center of a swirl, come together, that energy is created. Somebody's already quite aware of that, whoever's working with this. Okay, so this is going to be fun. This is something you're going to be able to take home with you and work with you. Because, you know, you see people's different ideas or philosophies and you leave with that, but how do you apply that to your everyday life? You know, that grand, okay, there was these pyramids and you know, then now you're back to life, right? So this is going to be something that you can apply and play with and do some transforming with. So if we're in the purple vibration on our life experiences, then which by the way, this vibration that we're at now on the Mayan calendar will be love, joy, integrity. So if we're collecting these experiences of love, joy, and integrity, why do we have the red experiences showing up? Okay, and we're going to talk about how to ground the stuck charges from those past experiences to keep them from repeating. So again, we talked about becoming mass by choice. Let's think about the vibration that we're at right now. As we're going up the Mayan calendar, one thing I can tell you is every day this planet is vibrating a little higher, a little higher, a little higher. So one thing I can say for sure is we will not be at the same density that we're at right now at this moment. And once I realized that, I started to appreciate the density that I'm at right now. And I started going, wow, you know, whatever we're going to vibrationally, that higher density, it's going to be fantastic. But while I'm here at this one, I really want to savor it. And I started to really get into my physical sensations, and I was petting roses and feeling my dog's fur. And I'm going, wow, you know, the beings that are not in physical form, they do not have physical feelings of touch and smell, all these physical feelings, and they don't have the physical emotions. I'm like, what? Oh, suddenly I'm like, these are like exciting, you know, I want to really hang on to this for now. And then so I thought I'm going to just appreciate being in, and we talked about spirits, how they don't have that. We have chosen to fall into this vibration of mass and physical form. And so I'm looking at lessons versus experiences. Now we've all been programmed, we're here learning these lessons. Have you learned your lesson, right? Well, if we're these all-knowing beings that have chosen to come into this experience of mass, why would we have to learn lessons? Well, if that's your truth, that's okay too, but I started to try on the option of we're here collecting experiences at all different vibrations. And I thought, well, if everything I'm doing is collecting experiences in physical mass, you can't fail an experience. Feel that in your body. Feel a lesson. Did you learn your lesson? You know, how does that feel? You're like, oh, did I fail? Did I pass? Did I get it? You know, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of judgment on that. But if you're like, how was your experience? Hey, perfect. Because an experience is always perfect. There's no passing. There's no failing. You did it exactly right. But we're going to get more into how to ground those in. So if we're here collecting experiences at every vibration, every level, and it's like collecting baseball cards. So think of this as you've got your little you know, your red selection of baseball cards and your oranges, and you've got your whole collection going. This is going to get fun. So why then do we have these repeating experiences? Let's go back to that. So if we are collecting experiences, let's think about the baseball cards. If we're collecting our experiences at different vibrations, and an experience comes along and you resist it, you don't actually experience it, you resist it, that's where you're going to have all these empty sleeves in your baseball card collection, because you didn't embody them and you didn't ground them in. And we're going to show you how that works. So removing the charge. So when you have an experience that you have resisted, look at your brain. You've got your left side of your brain. You have the masculine, the electrical charge, it's thought, it's judgment. You have your right side of the brain, which is the feminine, and it's emotions, it's feelings, and electrically it's grounded. So if those of you who understand electricity, the plus electrically has a charge, the minus is grounded. Now when we have an experience, it's the things that we do not feel are going to have an electrical charge on them. Kind of like, think about socks when they come out of the dryer with all the little coming out of them. That's the energy, because it's not grounded. It has a charge. And we talk like this, oh yeah, I got a real charge on that situation, you know. But do we really understand what having a charge on something means? So the charge sends out that little spark of energy on that situation and attracts that same thing right back to you again. So it sends it out, attracts it back, sends it out, attracts it back. So you know how you keep having those repeating incidents that happen over and over? It's because of that electrical charge, and it's not grounded. It might be a different person, but very similar situation. And I believe this could be over lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And think of it like a chain of pearls. The same experience or similar charge just keeps happening. The good news is if you ground one of those pearls, electricity, if you ground one on this chain, they'll all be grounded. So we don't have to go back and find every experience that we've ever resisted and relive it and feel it. We can just find one of them. And we talked about the change in the perspective. So on changing the perspective, here's an example. I had somebody give me a great insult. They hurt me, and I was like, oh, I felt it. And I went into my kitchen and I started cleaning like mad, which I don't normally do. So you knew something was up, right? Cleaning, I'm trying to avoid it, right? And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm avoiding a perfectly good, juicy human experience here and an opportunity to ground lifetimes of this chain of pearls. So I went and I sat down and I felt it, and I let a little tear trickle down. I didn't avoid it. A little tear trickled down my cheek, and I'm like watching myself have a human experience. And I'm like, wow, this is so exciting. I get to be here collecting these experiences and feeling. Because have you guys ever seen the movie City of Angels, where the angel is Meg Ryan and Nicolas Cage, and he was an angel, and just watching these humans, and he was so enamored of the way that they could taste and see color and feel and touch, that he chose to come down into physical form and have. So if you want to do a little homework on that subject, that's a good one. There is the City of Angels. So coming down into physical form and actually embodying these experiences and feeling them. So I sat down, I allowed myself to have, and I embodied. Now I've grounded that experience into my collection. Okay. So on this collection, I imagine myself sliding that card into the slot, owning that experience, grounding it in. Now it's complete. I've taken that charge off of it from collecting more. And let's go back here. No judgment on anything we have ever said or done. Doesn't that shift something in your core belief in yourself? Nothing you have ever done has ever been wrong. Ever. Does that feel good? You're not wrong. In this experience, we are not wrong, nor have we ever been wrong. Every little thing we have done has been just perfect. So how will this high vibration affect us? Let's talk about a lesson from the party ants. So the party ants were something that came to me as a little visual, because I'm very visual. I had a cup of tea on my windowsill, and it had sweet agave in it, and these ants, evidently, I'd forgotten about it, and the ants had discovered this, and they were having a pool party, just a good old time in this cup of tea. And I was busy talking on the phone, and I grabbed this little food charging coaster, which is one of my little nature inventions, and I put it under the cup of tea, just not knowing what else to do at the moment because I was busy. And all of a sudden I go, whoa, these ants started running like the house was on fire. And you know how ants are, they don't care, you could pick up a bowl, they'll climb up your arm, they're not afraid of you. And they just took off running, and I'm like, oh, because I did know that ants are of a lower vibration, and that's because that's their job. You know, when something like the wood's rotting, it sends out a low vibration frequency, and it attracts in the ants at their low vibration. They come in and they help break it down. It's part of the breakdown process on things. And so the ants did not like that high vibration. They were like, yeah, let's get out of here. And off they went. And I go, oh, my little scientist in my head goes, And I took a date, sweet, half-eaten date, you know, and I put it on the coaster. And these ants are running, and 4 of them go, oh. They were overcome with desire, and they were like, oh. And they turned around, and they climbed back on this coaster, and it was so interesting because they were so confused, and they couldn't even find the date. And 3 of them roll over on their side, then the 4th one, they're laying there, their little legs kicking, they're like paralyzed. And I'm looking at this going, whoa. This is our planet at a higher vibration. And these are the humans or the things on our planet that choose to be at a lower vibration. And I all of a sudden started looking at myself. Am I an ant? You know, I don't want to be like the ant. And by the way, the ants acclimated enough, happy story for the ants, acclimated enough to get up, and they left like it was a bad movie. They were like, no, we're gone. So with us, I started to analyze myself more and go, okay, as the vibration of our planet raises, are there parts of me that are still ant-like? You know, does all of me vibrate high? And I heard no. I definitely have some situations or some things within my being, my system, my field, my experiences that are still kind of that ant, you know, lower energy. And so I started to go, well, I don't want to be like an ant when the vibration of the planet gets really high. You know, what do I do? What do I do? And so I asked out loud, what do I do? And I hear to go outside. Actually, I was outside when I asked, and this tree's like, come here, come here. And it was a birch tree, and I'm like, okay. And I was like, okay, put your hands on me, all right. And so then I imagined growing roots, my feet like roots, just like the tree, and imagine my crown chakra opening, bringing in both those energies. I'm standing there, and then I got drawn to ask Mama Earth to reset me to be in alignment with her current vibration. And I was like, I go, that felt really good. And I got that as Mama Earth's vibration is raising, anything that's connected to her, she's going to just naturally take it smoothly right along with her. And I'm like, well, I'm sticking with her. So that's a little thing that I do a couple times a week now, is I just go get my feet out on the earth, and the more I do it, the more I feel drawn to do it, and just to keep being asked to be reset to that current frequency, because it changes every day. And when you're a match for the energy that you're in flow. And when you're not a match, there's a lot of friction, and your day is a lot. So if you want your day to go smoother, go reset yourself to the current energy. And nature is here assisting humans at this time. In fact, the trees are literally stepping forward to help reset our DNA.